Can Celtic do the double after the drama of the league win, or will Neil Lennon's Dunfermline get one over on his old boss? It's only the Scottish Cup final this weekend. I am Charlotte Cohen, and alongside Cillian, Sheridan and Rory we'll look ahead to the showpiece finale of the Scottish season. Hello and welcome to the Scottish Football Podcast. All the news, views and analysis you need on Friday the 22nd of May. And it's the Cup Final preview.
Nygren, number 6! Celtic turning on the style! It is incredible! Dunfermline Athletic, Scottish Cup finalists!
Celtic take on Dunfermline at Hampden. Can they clinch what back in January seemed an unthinkable double?
There's been a unification here in recent weeks which has been major, absolutely major in us getting over the line today. So from that viewpoint, let's see what next week brings.
Standing in Martin O'Neill's way though are the championship outfit Dunfermline. Can Neil Lennon's side manage to win their first Scottish Cup since 1968?
You know, I'm in a cup final with Dunfermline. I have to go home and sit down and think about that and take it all in. Because this time last year, Brian, we were ninth in the championship. Yeah, we started to smell a few things we thought we've got talent here.
It's Cup Final Friday on today's Scottish Football Podcast.
The Scottish Football Podcast from BBC Sports Scotland.
And alongside me to chat all things Scottish Cup this weekend, Cillian, Sheridan and Rory Loy. We've got something a little bit different this morning. Cillian and Rory are going to guess, or try and remember each other's clubs. Usually I start by introducing the player and the clubs that they played for, but this time it is up to these two to try and figure it out. So, Cillian, I'll start with you because I feel like you might have a slightly easier time than Rory will have. So I make it 8. Rory can tell me if I'm wrong, but I make it so you've got 8 to try and aim for.
I've got 3 for sure.
Okay.
And then I'm starting to struggle. So I know there's Rangers, Dunfermline, Dundee, and then I'm starting to get a little bit hazy then. I'm going to throw in Partick. No.
No.
No, I think I need to tap out early.
That's poor. That's poor from you. Do you want to fill him in, Rory, on the rest?
St Mirren.
St Mirren, should have got that. Yeah.
Carlisle.
Should have got St Mirren. Carlisle now rings a bell, yeah.
Falkirk. Now I'm struggling. How many's left?
2, I think.
This makes me feel better. The fact that Rory
can't even remember.
Kilmarnock, I was there as an apprentice. 16,
I put Killy down, yeah.
Okay, Kilmarnock, but
and then one more.
That would be a tough one to get to.
Your last one. Who did you?
Dumbarton.
There you go.
I should have got Falkirk and St Mirren.
Right, Rory, your turn.
You just have to name teams, and there's a chance of.
Yeah, I reckon I've got about half of them, so I think I can think of the first 60, but I'm struggling with the other. Right, so we'll go Celtic, St Johnstone, Kilmarnock, Dundee, Sophia.
Yeah. Brecon, yeah.
St Johnstone. Did I say St Johnstone?
Mm-hmm.
You did say St Johnstone, yeah.
Although there was 2 spells, so I suppose you could technically say them twice.
There's a couple more Scottish ones.
Is there? St Mirren?
No.
Motherwell?
No. Motherwell, yeah.
Yeah. Ross County?
Close.
Inverness?
Yeah.
Yeah, at this point, I'm
seeing names.
Shooting in the dark, I must say.
To be fair, you did quite well. That's like, what, 8 you got?
I know you spent some time in Bulgaria. Were you in Bulgaria? Is that
Bulgaria, yeah. Yeah, CSK Sofia.
Were you in Poland?
Then Poland, yeah.
I
think you'd struggle to say the Polish ones, even if you were looking at the names in front of you.
Oh, is there several?
To be fair, I was looking at the name in front of me yesterday, and I went, I have no idea how to pronounce this.
Yeah, Jagiellonia, Bialystok.
Were you in Greece as well, or Cyprus?
Cyprus, yeah. Apoel an ammonia.
Any more Scottish ones that I've not got?
Queen's
One,
Park.
yeah.
No, I would never have got that.
I enjoyed looking through those yesterday. It was interesting.
Fill me in on the rest.
Wellington, was that your team in New Zealand?
Wellington Phoenix, yeah. Oh, Plymouth as well. Forgot about Plymouth.
Oh yeah, they're near the start. And then you also played in Israel.
Yeah,
right?
Kiryat Shmona.
And then I think that was all of them. So you started in Ireland, and then I've got it down as Celtic, Motherwell, Plymouth, St Johnstone, Sofia, Kilmarnock, Apoel, Ammonia, Jagiellonia,
Yeah,
Wellington, Kiryat Shmona, Vizsla,
Plot.
Well,
Yeah, and then
Dundee, Inverness, Queen's Park, and then Brechin.
yeah.
That was from my friend, the internet. So there you go. Look at that. What a career. Let's get on to the current football. Big news yesterday coming out. Jens Bertel-Askew leaving Motherwell to join French League One side Toulouse. Rory, I don't know about you, but I was quite surprised by, not that he left, but I mean, we finished playing football a week ago and he's already out the door.
Well, that's just a mark of, I think, how well he's done. I mean, I've heard a few people say that it's a bit of an underwhelming move, but he's going to a mid-placed top 5 league in Europe. I know the French league probably falls 5th on that list, but I think it's a really good stepping stone, and I think it's a really good indication of if you come to our country and you play a style of football that is attractive on the eye and you capture the imagination of the nation, then you can get moves to European, the top 5 leagues in Europe. I think he's done very, very well. I'm disappointed he's not stayed in Scotland. Don't get me wrong. There's only a limited number of clubs he would have gone to. Celtic, I know there was a bit of chat about that. I would have liked to have seen him go to Celtic or whoever it may be, take that step up in our country and really show what he can do here. But it's very difficult to grudge him the move because he has done so well, and he'll have a treasure trove of money over in Toulouse compared to what he's got at Motherwell. So I think the eyes of Scotland will be keeping an eye on Toulouse and how they get on next season, because I think we all collectively wish him the best.
You touched on, Rory, potentially him going to Celtic. There was a lot of chatter around that, I think mostly from Celtic fans who were keen to have him there. But I suppose that the one positive for Motherwell and Motherwell fans, Cillian, is that he's not gone to Celtic. He's moved abroad, and they won't have to worry about him coming back to Fir Park as Celtic manager.
Yeah, I think I was a bit surprised. Look, you don't know what happens behind the scenes and stuff. I thought Celtic would have made a move to get him in. I felt like he seemed to be a perfect fit for them. Plays, as we've seen, a really attractive, good style of football. And then I thought the other thing that he had going for him was it's not like he's coming in from a different league or a different country and needs time to adapt and get used to this. And he's not like, I just felt if he went in at Celtic, because he's been here already, we've seen, okay, he might have had a slow start, but it all comes good eventually. Like if you trust it, it does come good. We've seen it here. And I just always thought that would have bought him a little bit of time at the start where he didn't need to hit the ground running straight away. But again, I don't know if maybe he wanted to challenge himself in a different league and go to, like Rory saying, like one of the top 5 leagues in Europe. But yeah, I'm a little bit disappointed that he's not going to go and stay here. Like a bit selfish point of view from us, where like we want to see such a good style of football on a bigger budget. Like if he went to Celtic, you'd imagine he could do it probably even to a higher level to what he was doing at Motherwell. But it's looking like it's something that we're not going to get to see, which is a little bit disappointing. But I can't see any. I think he leaves with all the well wishes of Motherwell fans, and I don't think there's anyone grudging him the move that looks like he's got.
You just have to watch Toulouse games next season. Add that to your calendar. Speaking of Celtic, They're in the cup final, obviously, on Saturday. But I suppose, Rory, league title's already in the bag. Back in January, in the midst of the Wilfred Nancy era, did you believe that Celtic could potentially have been in the position to clinch a double?
Oh, if you're going back to January and Martin O'Neill, or when Wilfred Nancy leaves the club and Martin O'Neill comes in, I think at that point I still felt reappointing Martin O'Neill gave them an opportunity. The first time I thought it was probably out with their reach was after Tannadice. I think given the time of the season at that point, given the lacklustre performance, difficult conditions that night, of course, with the pitch, with the weather, etc. But I thought they would struggle to find a way back into the race after that. But to win 7 games on the bounce, that's one thing I didn't think any of the clubs would be able to do. And Celtic have managed to do it. And I know there's a lot of chat out there about how it came about, etc. The best team, in my opinion, win the league. Bit cliched, but you play everyone home and away. There's an anomaly in there the odd time during the split. That's about it. And, you know, all these decisions that people mull over, they happen in football. It just so happened Celtic got a few high-profile ones towards the end. There's a few ones they missed out on throughout the course of the season, like any other club. So I didn't think after Dundee United it was possible. They have shown an incredible way of winning games, not just this season, but for decades now. I'm getting to the point where it's nearly 20 years out with one season where they were really poor. And yeah, I think from now on, you write them off at your peril, regardless of their form, regardless of their league position coming into January, February, March, because as long as they're still in touch, they are mentality monsters.
That's one of the big things, Cillian, for Celtic is Daizen Maeda in those final 5 games, 7 goals, an assist. Some really big moments from him when he hadn't scored, I think 12, he'd gone goalless in like 12 games before that. He's peaking at the right time and he could be really important for Celtic again on Saturday.
Yeah, definitely. I think he's proven to be not just the match winner for them this season, but probably you'd say the title winner for them as well. He was stepping up at crucial times, getting big goals, and it was probably a little bit similar to the game against Hearts. He was quite quiet for maybe 65, 70 minutes, and then just came alive once he got his goal, and then you just see a different energy about him. I thought that was a little bit similar to the season, where like if the season was 90 minutes, he's come alive like at around 70, 75 minute mark. But I think it's nice that he's leaving. Well, if he is leaving, that he's going out with the memories of being at his level now, like back to similar to last season, because I think you could clearly see he did go off the boil a bit. But I don't know if it's Martin O'Neill got something out of him and got a spark back in his game, but I think he's been crucial the last maybe 5-6 weeks. And probably if you're Neil Lennon, you're thinking you want him to have one of his off days. I think he's a strange player where his off days are really off, but when it clicks for him, he's electric.
Absolutely. One of the big talking points that still is continuing to ramble on from last weekend, Rory, was obviously the scenes after the game, the way things ended. Martin O'Neill was on TalkSport earlier on in the week and I think called claims of the pitch invasion being needing to be condemned nonsense, or I can't remember exactly what he said, but he was quite bullish in that interview and, backing his team and the Celtic supporters. Do you think it was wise, given they've got such a big game on Saturday, to, I suppose, almost be stoking the fire in that regard?
I think it had to be addressed to a degree. What I find difficult is when it comes to the idea of players being assaulted or the intimation of assault. It's very difficult for, you know, Martin O'Neill or anyone involved in the media side to cast aspersions, and unless it's clear cut, because ultimately that's a police matter if people are being assaulted. So it's very difficult for Martin O'Neill to go on. He said he was yet to see evidence of it. Ultimately, if there is evidence of it, that'll be handed to the police. The scenes themselves, I think there needs to be a more strict protocol in place now that pitch invasions don't happen. Celtic, I feel, have got the brunt of it now. Some of the scenes weren't acceptable with goading the Hearts players, etc. But ultimately, we talk about Celtic doing it over the last few weeks mainly because Celtic win things and Celtic score last-minute winners, and Celtic are constantly at the forefront of exciting moments. Therefore, naturally, it's going to be Celtic fans that flood onto the pitch. Had that game been won at Tynecastle in front of the Celtic, against Celtic, all the Hearts fans would have run on the pitch. It would have happened at Ibrox if Rangers had won the league. It happened in a league game I watched 2 years ago when Dundee United scored in the last minute against Hibs in the league. So it's not exclusive to Celtic in any way, shape or form. I just think pitch invasions need to be reined in. They need to be told if they come on the pitch, like in England and Wales, there will be arrests made. It's illegal to do so. I think all clubs have been guilty of it for a number of years now. There's been several incidents across several stadiums in the country. Cut out pitch invasions.
Should we just get you in charge of dealing with it all? That was very astute and don't know what that was. You put it really well there.
It's frustrating though, Charlotte, because you watch these games and it's the end of the game, and Hearts want to go and applaud their fans and thank them for the season, and Celtic players want to be on the pitch. They want to go around with their families. They don't want to be in a melee where they can't even celebrate with each other. Frustration all round from my thing, because it was such a good season, and all we seem to be talking about is people running on a pitch.
Yeah, it just kind of throws into question everything that happened. You're not talking about the game anymore. You're talking about all of this nonsense around it. But anyway, looking ahead to Saturday, Cillian, do you think, given all the drama that happened last week, the fact that Celtic did win, got that league title over the line, do you think there's any danger of Celtic maybe becoming a bit complacent? I mean, we've seen all season that they've had to work hard for everything that they've got, but I wonder if this maybe is an opportunity for Dunfermline to kind of maybe get them all their guards down a little bit.
Potentially. I think once the hysteria and celebration kind of dies down, I'm sure Martin O'Neill and Sean Maloney will have had all the players fully focused on the cup final. And the other thing, I think they know that Dunfermline are a dangerous team. They've shown they've beaten good teams that Celtic have struggled to play against and to beat this season in the league. So I think they know that it's not a case of just showing up and a trophy's just handed to them. And especially you throw in everything around it. It's Neil Lennon against Martin O'Neill. He doesn't want to just turn up and make it Celtic's day. He's there to try and do something special for Dunfermline and himself. So I don't think there'll be any. I think it's probably more from the outside of everyone, where everyone just assumes it's going to be Celtic's cup. It's going to be the double Martin O'Neill again. Where I think it'll be drilled into them from when they went back in training. They'll have went and enjoyed winning the league and celebrated that. But I think it's at clubs like that at Celtic. It's you don't just live off that. You're back in. What's the next thing that we have to win? What's next for us?
Where do you stand on Iheanacho, Cillian? I know obviously his fitness will be coming up and up. It always seems to be that Celtic are struggling ever so slightly. Always seem to need to bring him on to get them over the line. Would you try and start him and get ahead early in the game, or would you stick with what they've been doing and bring him on towards the end?
I can't see them changing how he manages him, Iheanacho. I think he'll start him off the bench again, and if he's needed for the last 20-25 minutes, I think he'll wait and bring him on, because he does make such an impact, such a difference. I still find it baffling how he's not fit to play. I know people are saying let him get
that's the thing.
But it's even like people saying let him get a pre-season. He's been there for. You should get fit from playing games and coming on in games. You don't need a pre-season to get up to full fitness. You're in training every day. You're playing. You're coming on in games. It just baffles me how he doesn't have that 90-minute fitness at, I think he's 29. But look, we can see the quality he has as soon as he comes on. He's just got that. He's just an accomplished striker that I think Celtic have been missing for a while. And I wouldn't be surprised to see him there beyond this season. But to go back to what you were saying, I don't think he'll start from the start. I think they'll wait and bring him on as that impact sub. Plus, that's the other thing. If he comes on for 20 minutes and it goes extra time, is he fit for extra time as well? But I think he'll be there on the bench, ready to come on.
Well, let's turn our attention to Dunfermline. Rory, one of the big things that has been the focus in the media in the last couple of weeks, since we've known that this would be the final, is this relationship between O'Neill and Lennon. I think Martin O'Neill said in his presser yesterday, somebody described it as like a student-teacher relationship, which I don't think Neil Lennon was too happy about. But how much will the focus on that be annoying Dunfermline fans, do you think?
I don't. Fans possibly. It'll probably frustrate. I don't think Neil Lennon will be too bothered by it. It takes the distraction away, or it takes the chat away from the pressure of the game and fielding questions about selection and what's going on. Whilst these will still be asked, the forefront very much, the capturing headline is very much Neil Lennon against Martin O'Neill. It'll maybe frustrate the fans because they'll want more of a spotlight on their club. Neil Lennon has brought cup success. Everyone wants a cup run. And most people say, well, to get a cup run, there's an element of luck. The draw needs to fall kindly. They've played they've played Aberdeen, Hibs and Falkirk. And that's no mean feat to win all three. They disposed of Aberdeen, no problem at all. It was pretty even against Hibs and they managed to get the job done. And against Falkirk on the day, they did the same. So I think that the fans would probably want a little bit more talk about them as a club, about their chances in the final. There is a lot of focus on, but at the end of the day, if you're going to appoint a high-profile manager who's had the success and has the history of Neil Lennon, you're ultimately he's a big part of the reason they're there. So you've got to take the good with the bad at times and accept that with a high-profile manager comes these subplots and storylines which the media love.
Indeed. And Cillian, Rory touched on the run that they've had in the Cup has been seriously impressive. They've just been beaten in the playoffs by Partick Thistle not too long ago. I wonder how much you think that will affect them, or if you think maybe on the flip side of that, this will drive them on because, this is kind of their last chance to really put a marker down this season.
Yeah, I was wondering myself if it would help them or hinder them if they were still in the playoffs and they had those games as well, that would perhaps distract them from a cup final. Maybe I think it might maybe free them up a little bit where there's not. It's been a long season for them. And I think just everything around this pressure and mentally having to go again for playoff games, that's out of their system now. They don't need to think about that. All they can now focus on is the cup final. So I think it might free them up a little bit. But then in the same breath, I feel like it's probably freed Celtic players up a little bit, where kind of the pressure's off them now for a while. They've had the pressure all season of having to really battle through not performing well, but just digging in and winning games right up until the last minute. So now that's kind of just, I think, all gone. That's gone from them now, and I feel like that might free them up for the final. But I just think Dunfermline will be dangerous. We've seen that they've beaten, like Rory saying, three Premier League teams, three good Premier League teams. It's also a tournament that Celtic have struggled. They've just about got to the final. So and look, a season that's been as crazy as it has, who's to say one more bit of madness might still happen.
Well, exactly. Your weekend listening starts with the Saturday show at 9 o'clock on BBC Radio Scotland, where Stephen and Amy are joined by Scott McDonald and Joe Cardle. That's followed by Off the Ball at 12, and then Sports Sound starts at 2 o'clock. Right, well, let's finish up with our rapid fire prediction questions. Usual script, no waffle, just one word answers. This is all about this game on Saturday. So, Rory, I shall come to you first. Is VAR going to cause controversy on Saturday?
No.
Cillian?
No.
Rory, do you think we'll see fans on the pitch at the weekend?
Is it one word answers?
Yeah, but if you want to elaborate.
No, I'll say no. If Dunfermline win it, I think you might see a few fans on the pitch. But I generally speaking, at Hampden in a Scottish Cup final, you don't often see that. So I'm going to say no.
Too far to get to the pitch from the stand.
Yeah, that's true.
Cillian?
No, I would be flabbergasted if I saw it. But no, I don't think so. Given all the chat that's been this week, it wouldn't be a good look.
Who, Rory, will be man of the match?
I'm going to say it'll be a bit of a slog for 60 minutes, and Ian Atch will come on and change the game. Ian Atch.
Cillian?
I'll go different. I'll go Andy Todd.
Right, Rory, will this be Maeda's last game for Celtic?
Yes.
Cillian?
Yes.
Finally, will Lennon and O'Neill still be friends at the end of the game, Rory?
Yes.
Cillian?
Yes. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, that is all we've got time for. Many thanks to Cillian and Rory, and thank you for listening. Remember, we are here with new episodes of the Scottish Football Podcast bright and early every day, so make sure you don't miss out. Subscribe on BBC Sounds and have push notifications turned on in your phone. Enjoy the rest of your Friday, have a great weekend, and we'll catch you again very soon.
For everything you need to know about your team this season, download the BBC Sport app. All the latest news, goal updates, stats and scores, and insight and analysis. Just select your club to get the biggest stories and best content at your fingertips. What a result. Download the BBC Sport app for everything you need to know about your team this season.